Début de la demi-finale homme dans un peu plus de 10 minutes entre la France et les USA. L'accès aux tribunes est gratuit, n'hésitez pas à monter dedans pour vous installer. Vous aurez une bien meilleure vue que sur la promenade. Beginning of the match between USA and France in less than 10 minutes. Pendant ce temps, le toss a été fait. Les Américains y ont appelé différent, il semblerait. Début du match dans 10 minutes. Beginning of the match in 10 minutes. demi-finale du tableau masculin va commencer dans moins de 10 minutes. Elle opposera la France aux États-Unis. Les personnes commencent à arriver en tribune, donc n'hésitez pas à venir le plus rapidement possible installer avant qu'il n'y ait plus de place. Et pour les personnes se rendant vers les terrains 14, 15, 16, 17, la France affrontera le Canada dans la division Grand Master. Ces deux équipes se battront pour une place en demi-finale.
We have reached the men's semifinals here in Royan, and on the biggest stage, the United States will battle the host nation, France, as we welcome you back to our live coverage of WCBU 2017. The natives on the sand here in Royan, hopeful to give the USA a game for the ages. The Americans 11-0 as they enter this semifinal round. Alongside Tom Stiles, I am Evan Lepler. And Tom, I think you and most of us are hoping that France can get an early break, get this crowd into the game, and create some momentum, and who knows what happens next.
Well, they've had a difficult up and down tournament, but the last couple of days they've found their stride. And the quarter-final matchup against Russia was a game that everyone on the sideline was enjoying. And I understand the last point. I didn't miss it myself, Evan, but I understand the last point was something very special.
Well, we'll show it to you right now because France had blown a 9-6 lead. The Russians had all the momentum, and then at 9-9 game to 10, we'll show you the entire last point, and it was tremendous. The footage from fanseat.com. They've done a great job streaming all tournament long. Quentin Roger launching deep, and it's Mathieu Bosser becoming the boss of the air. And then, as if they needed more drama, Sasha Powat, the dramatic game winner, and the French national team winning over Russia on Universe in dramatic fashion. The sidelines went absolutely berserk, as you would expect, and that has set up the French to battle the Americans here on the show pitch in the semifinal round. The winner advances to the title game on Saturday. The loser forced to battle for bronze tomorrow. We'll have the call and all the action for you as we continue our live coverage from Royan.
it early. Help us teach kids about cancer symptoms through Ultimate Frisbee clinics. Join us and speak up.
Certainly should be a partisan crowd. USA and France. The Americans dispatching Australia 13-5 in their quarterfinal. A game highlighted by a tremendous layout score from Cassidy Rasmussen. There's Tyler DiGirolamo, who was injured earlier in the tournament. And for a moment, USA feared he was seriously hurt, but he returned to the field today. Also a highlight from the Australia win, Brett Matsuka had his first goal of the tournament, and the sprightly handler had to lay out Callahan for the Americans against Australia. So USA 11-0. They've outscored their opponents 143-52. They've had one tight game. It was against the Spanish yesterday. Brian Jones, the head coach, his squad was pushed to the brink. And Tom, we've seen USA teams roll, but we've also seen USA teams get tested. And I think, honestly, the Americans appreciate every test that they get. They feel it makes them stronger for these types of show games.
Well, I think if the Americans do have one weakness, it is exactly that, is that they very rarely get involved in really tight games, certainly to an international level. This team have come in, I think the closest any other squad got to them was 7 points until that Spanish game yesterday. They rode through that challenge and came here into the semi-final, but they will have felt that, and they'll be excited to play this French team. The French look for their big aerial threats. They're not going to be afraid to throw deep, and if they get their head into this game, it could be a really close one.
Inselman picks up as we get underway. To Peter Pryl. Cassidy Rasmussen. Looked off DiGirolamo deep back to O'Brien. The American offense has been very steady. And Inselman connects with DiGirolamo. Despite missing some time, that's Tyler D's 18th score, which matches Cassidy Rasmussen for the team lead. And we'll see the France offense next. Tom chatted with the French head coach, J.S. Guillou, and he said, this is the game we wanted to play. So they're not going to be intimidated early on. The question is, can they stabilize and start trading and deny the U.S. the early momentum?
Well, they did very little to stop that American attack. The defense was a yard behind on every pass. They're going to have to do better if they're going to upset the USA. And their offense is going to come under some American pressure right now. They're going downwind. That'll be a slight factor. The wind is bustling the flags on the far side of the field.
Yeah, we've been fortunate not to have a vicious wind this week. Nothing like what we saw in the semifinals in Dubai, which was torrentially difficult. Weather's been hot, scorching at times, but very pleasant right now. Had some cloud cover moments ago. Now the sun shining through again. And out of bounds, Thomas Hervé. An early chance for a U.S. break. Matsuka and Wynn playing catch. Matsuka up line. Russell Wynn bids and scores.
I feared we might see this. The USA making such a strong and impressive start. French maybe a little bit rabbits in the headlights there. Errors coming. But the Wynn layout into the end zone. Impressive show of athleticism.
Just an unforced error here. His right foot landed on the tape. That was out of bounds.
It was very close to being inbounds, wasn't it?
It was.
Could have dragged it back a little bit. A little bit more awareness from the French receiver would have continued that point.
Matsuka with his 11th assist of the tournament. And Russell Wynn, the veteran defender from San Francisco, with a horizontal score. USA with a fresh D-line coming out. Nethercutt, Nelson, Katz, Chan, and Helton. USA was hampered by injuries throughout the week. Like a lot of players dealing with issues with their feet early in the tournament. This deep shot going up and through the grasp of Laurent Fee. Very close. Billy Katz there defending, and Fee could not haul it in on the first or second effort.
That was a great shot deep. Hung up, beautiful pressure from the Americans. Maybe a little bit of caught in the peripheral vision, put him off, couldn't make the connection.
Jonathan Nethercutt back on the field today. Yesterday he had a fever of nearly 104 degrees. Had blisters on his feet like many of the Americans as Chan shoots long and too long for Nelson.
So what can France do now? They've been gifted the disc there from the USA. Big overthrow. We see that attempted bid. Oh, he almost got both hands down. The back foot was inbound, so it would have been a great goal for the French had he managed to connect.
Certainly a missed opportunity. But they've got another chance. USA D-line turning it back over. France 9-2 on the tournament. Lost their first game to the Philippines. No shame in that. The Philippines have been the juggernauts along with the United States, unbeaten so far. And a loss to Australia, the other setback for France. But a dramatic win yesterday on this field against Germany allowed them to finish second in their pool. And that's a great catch. Just shy of the goal line. One more flip and it's in. And the French are on the board.
Travel.
But a travel was called, which will bring it back for the moment. Frédéric Breda looking for Sacha Poat. And as we return to live action, an easy score, not Poat, but Gwenel Tessier.
That was a great little low release sidearm with the left hand from the French player, jabbing it into the end zone, and the crowd rise. Can the French team react and respond to the support they're receiving? The evening sun setting over the buildings, still quite high in the sky. We had the solstice yesterday and a beautiful music festival out here on the Riviera as well.
There felt like dozens of bands. Every 50 meters or so you would find a new band playing on the main drag here in Royan. Yeah, yesterday the longest day of the year, the first official day of summer. The sun did not set here in Royan until around 10:15, 10:30 p.m. It was bizarre. I believe we were wrapping up our dinner and someone told you it was 10 o'clock and you were flabbergasted by that because it was still so bright outside.
People were still playing Frisbee and you had no reason to think why they wouldn't do that because it was like daylight.
O'Brien, Inselman, Rasmussen, DiGirolamo, and Pryl. Rasmussen looking for Tyler D. And he juggled it and hung on for the score.
Impressive pressure from Roger. Going up there, not afraid to take on the aerial battle. But Tyler DiGirolamo bringing it in. And really efficient one pass, one shot ultimate from the USA.
Rasmussen has done it all. Entering this game, he was leading the team in goals and assists. Typically starting as a downfield cutter. JSKU, the French coach, strolling off. Mathieu Bosser, one of the leaders. This French team, interestingly, and I know you talked about this yesterday, with 3 lines, and each line has its own set of plays. And Brian Jones, the head coach of USA, was trying to get a grasp on everything the different French players was going to do. They're a tough team to prepare for.
That's right. The 15 players split themselves into 3 lines of 5, and they always take to the field together, whether they're on O or D, and they prepare their own offensive strategies. So it's difficult to adapt to one style of play because there are 3 styles of play.
That throw was low, and it was not dug out. Inselman quickly picks up and finds Clark, and perhaps they will dispute what happened here.
The disc from Bossaire was too low. Robles not able to get down quickly enough. USA going to start the roll, and the French are going to be on the back foot if this goes in. No question about the disc being down. But
they called a foul.
It's maybe a push out of his hand. French have still got it.
And, well, perhaps there's something about truth emerging after a contested call. Hatchett swings it. Clark to the end zone, and Hatchett lays out for the USA goal.
Well, they're having to stretch out the receivers. The USA forcing that disc deep into the end zone. Hatchett up to the job, takes it down.
So another break for the Americans. The assist and the goal. A Boston Ironside connection, as Clark and Hatchett, both USA Ultimate National Club champions last year for the first time, connecting.
You see the layout technique from Hatchett there. It's more of a bump and roll than you'd usually find on grass. Grass, you tend to slide, so people use their chest to land and slide. If you try and slide on the sand, you stop dead. And as one of our commentary team found out the other day when we were practicing after all the games were finished, that could be quite painful.
I heard that you were one of the superstars in the media game that was going on last night.
You heard incorrectly.
Did I?
Yes.
Everyone hypes Tom Stiles. France on offense, shooting it deep. Breda, he's there!
Incredible physical layout. What a performance from Breda. Two-handed, making absolutely certain of that.
His 10th goal of the tournament for France. And that's the type of spectacular play that this French team needs. They need to make the tough plays. That's how you contend with the United States.
Roman Moira, the supplier of that disc, floating it through the sky, just enough balance and turn on the disc to bring it back across, despite the wind blowing it out of bounds.
You know, Tom, the leader of Team France was saying before the game, this is the moment that we train for. It's just a normal game. And I said, is it really? And he said, well, no, but we're trying to think of it like it's a normal game. Obviously, the stakes bring out the butterflies.
My apology, was Powat with the assist for that one.
O'Brien to Rasmussen. Helton's wide open. Inselman's wide open. And hard to say what happened there.
Now, the way the crowd responds to the American points is almost like an anticlimax, isn't it? Every time they score, the crowd shrug their shoulders.
Well, the French defense was ghost-like right there.
They're running away from them, and they're running away with this game at the moment. USA in dominant form. Downfield, so much space. Completely losing Roman Moira there. Using their speed and athleticism to expose any weaknesses in this French side. We saw in yesterday's game, France versus Germany. It was the last of their pool games. France needing to win it to take a place in the top 8 bracket, which they did. They played a great game against the Germans, but they're going to struggle here a little bit. against the Americans.
Clark laying head on the under, almost got there. Taking another deep shot. That disc floating enough. It's Eric Becker this time for the French.
Great rising layout from Becker. One of the players from Czech. A lot of the players on this French side are from Czech. Saw him linking up with Gaël Ancelin, who's playing on the mixed team here at the European Championship final in Frankfurt last year.
So France has certainly stabilized. A couple turnover-free holds on offense to get back within 2 at 5-3. Meanwhile, the other men's semifinal that's going on right now, how about Great Britain 3, Philippines 0?
I couldn't possibly comment on whether I'm pleased about that score or not, Evan. I value my impartiality, but yay!
The Philippines are a marvel to watch. I think we both appreciate that. DiGirolamo back to Inselman. O'Brien's throw. Tough catch for DiGirolamo. Over the top. Inselman all alone. That's his second straight score with no defender anywhere close to the USA captain.
The poachy defense from France being punished in style there. Inselman, as he wandered into the end zone ever so casually, no hurry about it at all, waving the hands aloft, and the hammer, perfection.
Inselman, the eldest member of this USA Open team. And you saw the defender of Inselman come into the lane, leaving him wide open deep. He may be the oldest player, but a lot of the guys in the team think he may be the best player on their team.
I don't know if the two French defenders who were nearest the disc there were expecting a switch, or whether he was calling for a switch. You saw Inselman's defender come in to take away a through pass, but did nothing about the overhead and left his offensive player completely exposed and alone in the end zone.
France, continued smooth offense, and then the throwaway, easily intercepted by Nethercutt. Nethercutt, DiGirolamo, and Hatchett all were sidelined for the game against Spain yesterday. And how about that throw from Nethercutt, sneaking it over the outstretched arms of multiple blue-shirted defenders. A.J. Nelson hopping into the end zone as he made the grab, and the United States with an impressive first half in this men's semifinal, a 7-3 advantage.
Great awareness from Nelson, seeing the line, realizing he was close, not wanting to take that extra pass. Did just enough. Look at this shot though from Nethercutt. Deep but low, just over the hands. Perfect execution of the roll into the end zone. Dominant performance from the USA in the first half.
A.J. Nelson, the product of Northwestern University in Evanston, just outside Chicago in Illinois. And back to the drawing board for JSDU, the coach of the French team, who has been playing Ultimate exactly half of his life. And he's now 34 years of age. Hatchett launches the pull for USA. Inselman on the field for a D point. Oh, how about that catch by Romain Moret? Did he have it?
Must have dropped onto the sand after he caught it.
Acrobatic effort, but he could not hang on. Wynn slices it into the end zone, and it's Inselman again having himself a remarkable individual effort, proving to be impossible to guard whether he's playing O or D.
Clinical stuff from the USA. Such fast discs, such aggressive cutting, such hard defense. The French just not able to live with it. Here's that bid again. It was a ground strip, wasn't it? He made the grab. He was under control as he hit the sand. Look at this low release inside. Bang. No chance for the French.
Inselman has scored 3 of the last 4 goals for the United States. Also had the initial assist to get the Americans on the board, and a timeout called from the French. If we're going to listen in, we have to stay on the huddle. This will be our final stream game of the day here on Field 1, but it should be a fantastic Friday, beginning bright and early, 9 a.m. with a mixed semifinal, then a women's semifinal, and then starting in the mid-afternoon, the championship games begin in all the Grandmasters and Masters divisions. We've got a USA-France men's Masters final, which should be fun. And then we'll cap off everything on Saturday with the finals in the women's, men's, and mixed divisions. USA still alive in each and every division. The Americans, one of 6 countries with entries in.
Becker with the disc. They're walking it up towards the line. Taking them to 12 each. The French were probably hoping to repeat that. It's not been the case so far.
France also with 7 different teams competing here at home. Oh, that was unbelievable. Jay Clark from the backside of Clément Jalot, soaring for the D.
Jalot just shaking his head. I thought I did everything. I thought I was in a perfect location. The disc just gets taken away from him right at the last moment.
And he did it cleanly without contact. Incredibly impressive from Jay Clark.
So far, this USA performance has been completely different class.
Nelson hits Clark. Back to Matsuka.
Quite a poachy defense from the French. Tightened up now.
US, when they have the disc, playing with a purpose. Clark can't do it 2 times in a row.
The high disc, stretching Clark. He holds his chest, might have taken a little bit of a heavy blow. We talked about the difference between laying out on sand and laying out on grass. So see that impact for him again. Reaches, bids, gets his hands down to try and break his fall. Oh, I think he jumps up fine. More frustration than anything.
Second turnover for USA.
Signaling to bring the strong breeze.
Crossfield Scuba draws some oohs and ahs from the partisan crowd, and stumbling but keeping possession alive. Gelot. Back to Roger. Becker. Sneaks it through. That was a fine shot. Becker to Roger.
Yeah, Becker showing a bit of class for the French side. They need more of that, but that shot through the middle of the USA zone like a lightning bolt. It's the first time we've seen the US playing a zone, Evan. I wonder if that was just a one-time experiment or whether they're going to stick with it for any longer.
Well, the head coach of USA, for those who aren't aware, Brian Jones, was my broadcast partner in Dubai and in London last year at WUGC, along with yourself, Tom, and a guy who has always been very passionate about Ultimate and coaching Ultimate. Well, he's really cherishing this opportunity. Inselman didn't release it exactly the way he wanted, and yet it still works out. Di Girolamo made the adjustment. And Inselman racing downfield. And Pryl may have been poked in the face.
Now Roman Mara getting a little bit too close. Difference between the physicality of those two players is quite remarkable, isn't it? Pryl towering.
There's a disparity. One of the things the French coach told me, he said, we want to be physical. We want to show that we can play physical and not be overtaken. But Jared Inselman on the biggest stage on the beach in Royan continues to make getting open look so easy. That's his 4th goal of the game.
Yes, he has had absolutely no problem escaping any of the defenders that have tried to mark him. Another example there. Hops forward. It's textbook stuff from the USA. Every turnover they have made, they've been really frustrated with themselves about as well. It's good to see that they're keeping that intensity, showing the respect to their opposition.
Inselman, something of an ultimate journeyman in the U.S. He's played in Atlanta and Raleigh and Boston. French team trailing by 5 now. By the way, we have just gotten the official word of what games will be streaming on the show pitch tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. local time. USA and Germany in the mixed division. That's the defending gold medalist Germany, and the American mixed team that has lost a couple times but took down previously undefeated Russia in the quarterfinals. So USA Germany mixed, 9 a.m. local time tomorrow. And then in the women's semi, Great Britain and Russia. And an unfortunate error on the clap catch attempt by Michotet. USA playing with such purpose and speed on a turnover. Cats to Helton.
Unstoppable stuff from the USA. Once they've got the disc, they never looks in doubt, and they're playing a little bit of freestyle. Nice stuff from the USA.
Helton's another guy who missed some time earlier in the week. Saw him walking a couple days ago, and it was like he was walking with a cane. He was really struggling on his feet, but took some time. Everyone on the U.S. rosters have been incredibly praiseworthy of the athletic training staff that has accompanied the U.S. delegation.
Is that Medusa?
That is Team Medusa. The men call themselves Musa, the women call themselves Wusa, and the medical staff, of course, Team Medusa.
This is not the game the French wanted to produce on the biggest stage in front of a very enthusiastic Royan crowd. They're cheering on the home side regardless of the current scoreline.
Philippines, after falling behind 3-0, are back within 1 at 4-3 against Great Britain on an adjacent sand here in this is Fee looking for the goal, and he's got Hervé. Thomas Hervé with his 17th score of the tournament for the French. He's second on the team in that department, behind the young man Sullivan Robles, the youngest member of the squad.
Yeah, Hervé, we saw him dominant against the Germans in their pool game, which was streamed here. danger in the end zone, but I guess that's testament to the defensive pressure, aerial advantages that the French had against other teams. What I'd like to see now, I think what all the neutrals would like to see now, is a French go on a D roll. Just a couple of points. That's all we ask.
I would love that. That would be tremendous. Rasmussen took off. O'Brien bluffed it. Helton energetic with his fakes as Rasmussen a bullet to DiGirolamo. Could Inselman score another? Back to O'Brien. DiGirolamo over the defender, and Rasmussen. It's like they're playing 5-on-4.
The speed of change of direction, the speed of reaction, the chemistry between the individual players on this USA side just leaves the French flat-footed. It's like they've got an extra second on every cut. Look at this, change of direction and immediately goes, takes the defender out of the way. Pop over the top.
And not an easy throw from Inselman there. That elevator backhand. There's a defender in the lane, no big deal. I'll just throw over him and make sure it drops perfectly in the Cassidy's breadbasket.
Oh, we talk about trusting the forces. So if there was a defense for the lackluster French defense, it might be that they were trusting the force, but with disc skills like that, pretty much anywhere in that end zone is a good target.
USA 2 points away from improving to 12-0. They've beaten Singapore, Russia, Ukraine, the Netherlands, Canada, and Switzerland, Japan, Denmark, and Poland, Spain, Australia, and very nearly have surpassed France as well. Testing Matsuka deep, and it's a great catch. Even Matsuka has praise for Quentin Roger.
That was a great take. I think if you add up the teams that have been beaten by all the US squads across the thing, you'd need an atlas.
11-6. Heck of a grab from Roger, his 14th goal of the tournament for the French. Even if they can't come back here, you know, their pursuit of a bronze medal tomorrow will be an exciting atmosphere as they try to medal. They've already guaranteed themselves a medal in the men's masters division because it'll be gold or silver. And really, overall, an impressive performance from the France delegation on their home sand. France and the U.S., 2 of the 6 countries that entered rosters in each of the 7 divisions here in the 5th ever World Championships of Beach Ultimate.
Another great opportunity to see this American offense.
Rasmussen for Pryal.
Well, the speed of these sidearms is so impressive.
Rasmussen, DiGirolamo's got it.
We just saw 2-3 bullet sidearms right across the pitch. There's no other nation in the world that can do it with such speed and consistency and confidence. These American men in a league of their own at the moment.
There are times when you watch this team, you know, like, do they need to throw it so fast? But they do it with such a precision. It's really a sight to see. Very strong squad that could have had Jimmy Mickle and Chris Kocher as well, but those two making the USA World Games roster.
It's a big year in the for the World Games teams preparing to go out to Poland. That's not a problem that Great Britain have right now, though, unfortunately. Not in the top 5 in the world.
I'm sure that is a source of motivation for everyone in the UK. Tom is silently nodding.
Yes, it is.
Well, it could be the USA and GB in the men's final here tomorrow. GB is now leading the Philippines 6-4, and the Americans can taste it.
Great bid from Jay Clark, knocking that dig to the ground.
Looking to end it with Clark. Jay Clark almost did it.
Oh, it would have been double layout happiness for Jay Clark. Such effort to get up there. You can barely make out the logo on his shirt for all the sand he's collected.
Good luck to the USA laundry attendant. Incredible defense from Clark. And Nethercutt trying to give him a chance to pay it off. Inches
away. It's a hard skill to know that you have to lay out your offensive grabs as well as your defensive shots as well. France haven't got there yet.
Bosser, low throw, and Nelson bidding to knock it down. Walden Nelson picks up. Walden Nelson on the brink and into Jack Hatchett. The USA with a dominant performance to take down France and advance to Saturday's final. 13-6. USA with a spectacular effort. Only 4 turnovers in the easy win.
Yeah, emphatic victory for the USA, showing themselves to be physically, skillfully, tactically superior to the French. The French looked like they had moments of brilliance, but they made so many errors themselves under the intense USA pressure. It was the horizontal bids and fast running of the USA. Every inch the better team.
So the Americans will await the winner of Great Britain and the Philippines. It's currently 6-5 to GB. USA has not faced either of those teams yet. The French team getting a nice hand from the crowd, the Americans as well. It's hard not to appreciate what the USA did here on this semifinal stage. France had some chances, but just were not good enough, Tom.
We see some of the huge bids and moments from this game. But again and again, the highlight package is filled.
Jared Inselman was the star for the U.S. He had 4 scores. That grab by Roger, one of the great plays for the French.
It's been a pleasure covering this one with you, Evan.
Tom will be back tomorrow morning. For Tom Stiles, Evan Lepler saying so long for now. The USA onto the finals tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. local time. USA-Germany in the mixed division at 10:10 a.m. local time. Great Britain and Russia in the women's division. Those are semifinals tomorrow morning before the championships begin tomorrow afternoon. USA in the men's division moving on to the finals on Saturday.
En master mixte, tandis que sur le terrain de haut, on peut retrouver le Canada contre la France. Donc oui, sur le terrain de Canada contre la France, en demi-finale du Master Mixte